Oh, I'm not going to lie, I'm really struggling this week. I am struggling with so many things, I don't even know where to begin. I have had a crazy week, and I have been struggling with lots of side effects this week, almost as if I am back at week one starting Mounjaro for the first time. If you're new here, my name is Ginger, and this is my channel Ginger Goes GLP-1, where we discuss all things GLP-1, and in my specific case, I'm on Mounjaro. Now, I currently take a 7.5 milligram pen or dose from the pen, and I've been on that for the last 16 weeks. I've said all along that 7.5 milligrams seems to be my dose, and it has been the one that I've been the most settled on. I've lost, consistent weight on, and I feel pretty good most of the time. Things have changed slightly this week, and I think it's really ironic that I think it was 3 weeks ago I was considering whether I'm going to move up to a 10 milligram pen. I am so glad I didn't do that. I'm so glad I decided to wait until I got back from Chicago, and I waited, just to see if anything changed, because things did change for me in Chicago. I experienced a lot of suppression while I was there, and that seems to have carried on since I've been home. Anyway, I'll get to that a little bit more in a minute. So, my weekly weigh in videos, what I tend to do is discuss mood, hunger, cravings, side effects, sleep, calories, exercise, non scale victories, and any future goals that I have. So, I started Mounjaro back in October 2024, 1st of October 2024, and my starting weight was 247 pounds, sorry, 247.8 pounds, or 17 stone 9.8, or kilos, I weighed 112.4 kilos. Now, I've been on it, like I said, for 32 weeks. I did one pen at 2.5 milligrams. I did two pens at 5 milligrams. And I'm currently on my 16 weeks, fourth pen of Mounjaro at 7.5 milligrams. I think that's right. 4 pens at 7.5. Mood. I have been all over the place with my mood this week. Now, I am putting a lot of this down to jet lag. So I'm hoping that with a few good nights' sleep behind me, I'll be able to sort of get back into the swing of things. But I launched back into work on Tuesday, and things haven't changed. So work is really stressful, and being tired on top of that, I don't think has helped. So my mood has kind of been a bit up and down this week. So I'm just writing off this first week. So week 32, I'm kind of writing it off and just putting it down to jet lag, tiredness, readjusting into working life after having 2 weeks off work. So we'll see where that goes. I'm just going to park it there. I've got some things rumbling around at the back of my brain about stress and how that impacts on my sort of weight loss journey. But I can't look at that at the moment. That's too deep a ravine to go into straight back from holiday. And obviously you've got the post-holiday blues, so I'm kind of well aware of that as well. So I'm just going to leave it for now and see how I do over the next month, I would say. Hunger, wow. Bearing in mind I left when I was in Chicago that second to last day, I was so hungry, hungry, to the point that I took my shot a day early. I took it, well, not a day early, but probably 18 hours early. I took it because I was overwhelmed by the hunger, and I was kind of blown away by how strong that was. So I did take that a day early, and hunger this week has been really reduced. Now, the suppression is really, really strong this week, but I kind of put that down to, again, jet lag, adjusting back to UK life, um, the fact that you're on a different time zone, you're not quite sure when your hunger's going to kick in or whatever, and obviously work has been stressful. So I've been trying to catch up and get things done. So I've missed quite a lot of not meals, but I haven't been eating consistently. So my hunger's been, um, yeah, like I said, a bit weird. I haven't had any really hungry days, thankfully. Um, but I've also had some really, 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 really strong suppression days where I've eaten very, very little. And bearing in mind that I jabbed 18 hours early in Chicago, something that never, ever, ever happened before happened this week. So I inject on a Thursday morning. I usually inject about 6:30 in the morning when I'm making my first cup of coffee in the morning. And so anyway, it kind of just slipped my mind. I kind of got on with work, and I was kind of got the day done and whatever. And yeah, I had my dinner, and I had soup, I think, on Thursday night, and I went to bed and, got up the next morning and, yeah, I was making my coffee and, went and sat down and I started working. And then, somebody made a comment about, oh, thank God it's Friday. And I was like, oh, yeah, thank God it's Friday. I'm so jet lagged and tired. And then I thought, did I inject yesterday? I must have done. Surely I did. And I forgot to inject. I forgot to inject on day 7, which was really day 8, because I hadn't, I'd injected like early in Chicago. And I only remembered on the Friday. And on the Friday, I mean, I still injected, but I wasn't having that same normal, like day 5, day 6, where you're hungrier and you can eat more, and the suppression's kind of like faded away a little bit. So I don't know what's happening. I don't know if it's this particular pen that I'm using, but bearing in mind that it was kind of like what day 8, like properly day 8, maybe more like day 8.5 by the time I remembered, and I still hadn't had the hunger come back. That was kind of weird. So that's the first time that's ever happened. I'm usually ready with my jab like as soon as I wake up, and and I'm kind of thinking, oh yeah, I was a bit hungry yesterday, or I ate more than I normally do, or whatever. And like I said, after Chicago, that Wednesday that I was there, I was terribly, terribly hungry. And I had all of that, all of those little chocolate cookies that I said that I did. So yeah, so it was very unusual. So I'm not quite sure. And cravings. So even though I've jabbed early last week and then I jabbed late this week, I have had some like cravings in the sense of I've been wanting snacks, or I've been thinking about snacks like potato chips and or crisps and things like that. So I've noticed that I haven't actually been indulging in that, but I have been thinking, and I think it's just the flavor aspect. I've been craving the flavor, especially because I haven't been eating that much. So I'll jump onto calories. I'm kind of out of sync, but I haven't really tracked at all this week because my eating's been so sporadic, and I just, yeah, I haven't really been thinking about it. I didn't track at all in Chicago, so I've kind of got out of the habit of it. So I think I tracked a bit on Monday. I forgot on Tuesday. I think I logged maybe 1 or 2 things on Wednesday, completely forgot on Thursday. Friday, I just put 1 or 2 things. Yesterday, Saturday, I didn't put anything down. So yeah, I've been a bit all over the place. So this week we are writing this whole week 32 off just jet lag for pretty much everything that I normally talk about. Side effects, obviously, I've mentioned the mega suppression. And it is mega suppression. I'm talking like that first week when you start Mounjaro and you just get that whoosh of not thinking about food, not having like the hunger pangs that you normally get, like having that suppression. I've had that all this week. Saturday, yesterday, I think I had something like two hard boiled eggs and some chicken breast, and that was it. Just couldn't eat. Um, so the side effects are that the suppression's very high, but also interestingly enough, I've been exhausted. So if you've been following me since the beginning or you've looked at any of my older videos, one of my biggest side effects was sleep and exhaustion. And I want to say about 8 to 10 weeks where I was beyond tired. I mean, like beyond tired, so to have that back again, I'm linking it in with jet lag. So, it could be that, but I've just noticed that this week the side effects, I would say, have been a lot stronger. There's a part of me thinking, is this a 10 milligram pen and they've just written 7.5 milligrams on it? um yeah, because it's very bizarre that I should be so far into my Mounjaro journey, and especially the 7.5 milligram pen, bearing in mind that 3 weeks ago I was thinking about jumping up to a 10 milligram pen. So it is slightly bizarre. The other side effects I will say I'm really struggling with is this ear popping, um, to the point that I'm thinking about going to see the doctor about it. And I'm wondering, is it just the Mounjaro or is there something else going on? Because yeah, it's popping all the time, and I've got that aeroplane ear thing, so I'm constantly like trying to clear my ears or blow through my nose or chew gum or stuff like that. Does anybody else have ear popping, ear bubbles, like that aeroplane ear type thing? Or is it just me? Maybe it's not a side effect. Maybe I've got something wrong with my ears, and I'm dismissing it unnecessarily as Mounjaro. But yeah, the other thing, good thing I would say, is no more rashes around the injection sites. So I had that consistently for a whole pen. So I wonder if it does vary pen by pen. I don't know, but I haven't had any redness or itching or anything. Whereas I had it consistently every week for about 4 weeks. So I don't know. What else? Sleep, yeah, exhausted again, jet lag, work, that kind of thing. So sleep's not been great this week. Just trying to get back into a routine pattern. Exercise, I have been trying to exercise. I've only done it twice since I've been back. I've been back over a week now, and I've only managed to exercise twice. One time was on my trampoline, which I'm loving, and the other was on the treadmill with a weighted vest. So I bought a weighted vest before I went away. I've not used it. But yeah, it just adds that kind of, and it's really surprising when you add the weight back on, and it's not even like as much weight as I've lost. I think this is a 25-pound weighted vest, and I've lost double that. So I used to carry that around all the time. So it's very interesting when you have that for comparison. I'm wondering, should I go down a dose, or should I try and do what I normally do and what I recommend people do and give it a couple of weeks and see how it goes? So I'm going to try and do that. I am going to give it a little bit of time to see if it changes. But I do understand now people that say they feel sick all the time on the pen, or they just can't eat. The plan is not to eat. I am not on eat as little as possible and lose as much weight as I possibly can in this shorter period of time. That's not how I want to do it. I want to do it slow and steady because I think that's the best way, and that's the way that I can sort of, help to learn better habits as I go along this journey. Um, but yeah, it hasn't been great. So if you do struggle with sickness, nausea, mega suppression, I do feel for you. Burps, I've got the burps as well. Should have said that in side effects, but I've always got the burps, but I've got the burps quite bad at the moment. Oh dear, Mounjaro, the gift that keeps on giving. It is the gift that keeps on giving because I am losing weight, and that is the whole purpose of me doing this Mounjaro journey. So I'm not gonna speak too negatively about it. Though I have been speaking quite negatively this whole video. It is just one of those things, you know. We all have ups and downs, peaks and troughs on Mounjaro, and I think just this week's been a bit of a trough for me. Um, but it is coming back. It's the post-holiday blues and all of that malarkey. But what I will say, non-scale victory though. I went out yesterday. I had to return some stuff that I bought for my trip that I didn't actually end up taking, so I was returning that. And I went into Next and I tried on a pink suit. I had no intention of buying it. I just wanted to try it on and see what it looked like on me. It was completely out of character for me. It's out of my style type thing, you know. So, but I just wanted to try it on, and I took the chance of trying on a size 14, and I couldn't believe it. The size 14 fit me. So the pants were just a teeny tiny bit too tight around the waistband. The legs fit perfectly. The waistband was just a little bit tight, and I had a bit of muffin top because of that. But the jacket fit absolutely perfectly. And if there had been a button on it, there wasn't. It was just, it was a, I don't know what you call it, but basically it didn't have any buttonholes. It was just like a jacket you would wear open. Um, if there had been a button on that, I would have been able to get the button done up quite comfortably. So I will try and put a picture here or here of what that looked like. So that was my non-scale victory. I'm delighted with that. You know, it's always nice to get into a new size um, zone, for want of a better word. Um, and like I said, it was a very not me type of clothing. I sent a picture to my daughter and she said, "You should buy it." I don't think I would buy it because my work isn't a suit wearing job. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to wear it at work, and I don't really have anywhere else to go. Although I did think interview suit, maybe, I don't know, but that's a bridge to cross later. I can't even think about that just right now. Goals. I've mentioned a couple of weeks ago that some of my goals are the interim goals are to get to 175 pounds. Last week I weighed in at 190 pounds, so that's 15 pounds weight loss to get to the 175. I also wanted to get into the 180s, so that would be like a mini goal that I could achieve in the meantime. And the other one is in UK measurements to get into the 12 stones. So I weighed in at 13.8 last week. So I'm still 9 pounds away from the 12s essentially. But those are all of my mini goals. Which brings me on smoothly on to my weight loss for last week, week 32. I've given it away now by saying weight loss. So I did lose. I did lose, which is hardly surprising because, yeah, the appetite hasn't really been there at all. So last week I weighed in at 190 pounds or 13 stone 8 exactly, or 86.3 kilos. This week I weighed in at 187.6 pounds or 13.5, so 13 stone 5.6 and 85.1 kilos. So in total that's £2, 2.4 pounds I've lost this week, or 1.2 kilos. So you can't say better than that, can you? So that's quite a big loss for me. I'm usually in sort of like the 1 to 1.5, 1.8 weight loss numbers. So 2.4 pounds is quite a big loss for me in 1 week. It's not unheard of. I have done that a few times over my journey, but It's not a normal loss for me, and I think that is just basically the strength of the suppression at the moment. um but yeah, so that might change. So I might, if I manage to start eating normally again, then I will hopefully like have a £1 loss next week, or even a £0.5 loss. I'd be happy with that next week. But I am going to try and focus on getting more calories and more nutrition in. It's Sunday lunchtime. I've done a big batch cook, so I've made some like spaghetti, not spaghetti, some bolognese sauce that I'm gonna have with like courgette, like shredded courgette. I can't think, like, you get the spaghetti like courgette. I don't know where my brain is. I have no words today. Or you can get sweet potato spirals, oodles or noodles or whatever they're calling them. Um, or you can get butternut squash, noodly type things. So I have it with that because obviously I'm not doing pasta just because of the gluten. So I've made some of that, and I've also made some of my curried butternut squash soup that I like to have with fish. So I make some white fish and I crumble that in. So those are the two things I've sort of batch cooked for the week, and I'm going to try and be getting some decent portions of those in coming soon. Not today, potentially, because I'm still struggling. It feels like I've eaten like two whole roast dinners, and I haven't. I've I've had two soft boiled eggs like I do every morning, and it just, yeah, it feels like I've eaten like a whole buffet to myself. It seems strange. It just seems strange to me. It's very unusual to have so much suppression after being on the same dose for so long. So the only thing I can put it down to is that the pen's wrong, that it is a 10 milligram pen or something. But does that sound insane? I don't know. Is it even possible? But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here for this week. Um, and I will join you on Wednesday for a midweek musing. So if you've made it this far,